Well, you may have noticed that the spring flowering bulbs are starting to come into all the garden centers and nurseries now, and it's just a little bit early to plant those outside. But right now is a perfect time to go ahead and force those and cause them to bloom inside. And today I want to show you some tulips and some daffodils, which are perfect bulbs to force inside. Well, forcing a bulb just means causing it to bloom a little bit earlier than it really would outside. And the first thing that you need is a pot. And if you can find a pot that's taller, that will help, because that gives the roots some place to grow down at the bottom. Now this pot, I have a drain hole in the bottom, so I've put a rock over that so that the soil won't drain out. This pot doesn't have a drain hole, so you want to make sure, if you choose a pot without a drain hole, to put some rocks down in the bottom about an inch worth so that the water has somewhere to go. Well, next we move on to the soil, and you can just use bagged potting soil, but check that soil and see if it's got some good drainage. And you can tell that this has a lot of the perlite in it, the white, and I've put a lot of sand in here. Now if your soil doesn't have sand, just go ahead and add about 1/4 sand, and that will help with drainage. And it also makes that soil heavier so that the bulbs won't push themselves up out of the pot. Well, I'm putting about 2 inches of soil down here because I have room. I want to have room for those roots to grow. Just go ahead and put that in there. And then, after I've done that, I want to go ahead and put my bulbs in. And most people know which end is up on a bulb, but what you might not know is that if you're forcing them, if you can put these with the flat side out towards the outside of the pot, that will help, because the first leaf will come out and kind of arch over the edge of the pot, and it'll make it look really nice. So I just put these bulbs just about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. If you can choose bulbs that are about the same size, that's really good. And when you're forcing bulbs, you're going to have them closer together than you would if you were out planting them outside. So you just need about a finger's width in between each bulb. And I've just placed them around the outside edge of the pot. Next, you just go ahead and put potting soil over that. Don't pack it down too hard, just gently fill up the pot to about 1/2 inch from the top of the pot. Now it's important when you're selecting bulbs to try and get them about the same size to go in here so that they'll all grow and look nice at the same time. And also, when you're selecting tulip bulbs, you want to make sure that this outer layer, this is called the tunic, that it's not split or coming off. See, try and get it where it's covering the whole bulb. You also want to choose a bulb that's firm, and look for places on it where it might be decaying, and don't buy bulbs that are that way. The larger bulbs are better too, because there's more food stored in those, so you'll have a nicer flower. Well, the same thing goes for the daffodils. They look a little bit different than tulips, but just make sure that they're firm and make sure there's no rotten spots on them, and that's what you need to do. Well, after you've got the tulips in here, go ahead and water those in. And then, some people may wonder why you have to plant your tulips outside in the fall. Well, it's because they have a chilling requirement. And if you're forcing bulbs for indoors, they also have a chilling requirement, and the way that we can meet that requirement is to put these in the refrigerator for about 10 weeks. 10 weeks is the minimum, and during that time, that's when the roots grow. After 10 weeks, you can check to see how the roots are. You can see if they're coming out the bottom of the pot, or else you can kind of tip the bulbs out and see how the roots are. If they need some more time, go ahead and leave them in, but if they're ready to go, just go ahead and set them out and bring them into about 68 to 75 and keep them watered. Now, while these are in your refrigerator, there are 2 things to remember. You want to check the water in them. Don't let them dry out. You may have to bring them out and water them. And then another really important thing is that if you have apples in your refrigerator, you won't want to force your bulbs in there, because apples give off an ethylene gas, and this will actually cause the flower bud in the tulip to abort and you won't get any bloom. So just remember that if you want to force some flowers to store your apples somewhere else. Well, this is a really easy thing to do, and try this and you'll get some nice bloom right in time for Christmas.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.